Never made it, but I've been craving it ever since I saw it on my feed. So we're gonna make it. It's gonna be delicious. Instead of lettuce, you've got crunchy celery. The great thing about making this for a potluck is that it's going to stay crunchy and delicious the whole time because celery doesn't get, soggy. So you wanna wash your celery really well. I'm sharing the person that I saw this recipe from. However, since I saw it, I've seen a dozen other people create it, but the way this lady made it seems the most appetizing to me. I've seen people make it with really thin slices of celery. I like kind of the chunkier pieces because I really love that crunchy bite from celery. Cucumbers next. I'm not gonna do too much. I'm just gonna do like a half of an English cucumber in there. I'm just gonna do like really small slices of the shallot, kind of quarter it and then slice it really thinly. Okay, the dates are next. You want pitted dates. They were out of those, so I'm having to take the pits out myself. And then we're just gonna chop them up. You can picture how this would work in the salad. At parties, how you'll go and they'll have like date appetizers and they're usually like stuffed with blue cheese or something like that. That's why this is a great idea for a combo because you've got that salty Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna do the apple last so that it has the least amount of time to brown. I'm just gonna chop that up. Depending on how big your apple is, 1 to 2. Okay, now time to mix it up. Okay, so she describes the salad as a cross between, it's like where Waldorf salad meets a Caesar salad. So you've got the apple, got the savory notes, and then you've got this like Parmesan forward lemony dressing. Okay, so I'm just gonna shred it into a bowl. This is the time when you do wanna buy the block of parm versus the pre-grated kind. It's just gonna be creamier and have a better flavor. It's a lot of cheese, okay? To that, we're adding in some olive oil, a little mayo, and then a lot of lemon juice. Just a hint of sweetness. I like honey for this, and some garlic. I'm gonna grate it in so you don't get like big pieces of garlic. See how that cheese just melts in there? Gotta season it with a little salt and pepper. Now this goes over all this. You wouldn't think this would all go together. This is the salad you bring if you're invited to the foodie's house, This is the one that's gonna get you an invitation back the next time. Seen this salad with pecans or walnuts. I'm going pecans. Now you're getting that look like the Waldorf. Okay, y'all ready? Are we ready for the taste test? You're just gonna go in and without even looking, come out with a perfect bite. It really did. It's probably a big bite, but it's everything I said. The celery is kind of neutral in flavor, almost a little bit salty, but you get those bites of sweetness from the apple and the dates, then that creamy dressing with the lemon and Parmesan. Just make this, okay? Just make it. I feel like you can taste it just by looking at it. I'm gonna finish it off with another little sprinkle of parm. I'm also gonna use the celery leaves because if you're using a whole bunch of celery in this salad, you gotta make use of those leaves. Oh yeah, that is cute. While everyone's Sunday dinner varies a little bit, when I ask the question, when you think of Sunday dinner, what is it? You think of pot roast was the #1 answer. Starting with a rump roast. You've seen me do pot roast in the form of a chuck roast. A rump roast is a little less common, but I think this is what a lot of grandmothers used back then. Sundays used to be slow, but now they're filled with baseball practice and whatever else you have going on. But I'm bringing it back. It's time to slow down. The thing about our grandmothers, when they cooked, it was very simple. So I'm gonna keep everything simple today. We're just gonna start with salt and pepper. So I think that's the way they did it. And when available, I'm gonna modernize grandma's dinner best I know how, while still keeping to tradition. A rump roast has enough fat going throughout, so you don't need all this fat on top, so I'm gonna trim some of this off. Tried to dress as close to a grandma as they do in 2026 right now. So I'm doing the classic way to make a pot roast, which is start on the stove and finish it in the oven. I'm just gonna start with about a tablespoon of oil and get it really hot because we want to create that flavorful crust on the outside. And that's what you wanna hear. Now this process is gonna take a good 10 to 15 minutes. You want it to be browned on all sides. While that sears, chop up some onion and celery, just keeping it basic. Browned and flavored. I'm gonna set it aside while we cook our veggies in the drippings, onion and celery that I've chopped up. You just wanna cook it for a few minutes just to start softening these veggies. Also gonna add in a few cloves of garlic. I like to smash it and then just give it a rough chop. Smelling good. I'm also gonna add in a little more salt and pepper here. Now I don't know if my grandmother did this but adding a little tomato paste is going to help lift off the flavor that remains on the bottom of our pot, and I think it's a good idea. Not much, just about a tablespoon. The best part about a pot roast is the gravy, so I'm gonna try to start thickening up our cooking liquid a little bit so that it cooks in its own gravy. So I'm gonna go in with a little flour to the veggies, cook it for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then go in with our liquid. The liquid combined with that tomato paste is really gonna help lift that flavor off the bottom and keep our pot easy to clean. We're gonna add potatoes and carrots a little bit later, but we're gonna go ahead and get it started in the oven now. Scraping up all that good flavor. Okay, now one thing that I think our grandmothers did is use bouillon, beef bouillon. I'm going to update that just a little bit by using a bouillon paste. I think the flavor of this is a little bit better, and the flavor is a little deeper than what comes in a carton, so instead of broth. You can see how I've really cleaned the pot, so all that flavor now lives in the liquid. I'm gonna add back in the roast, and for a little more flavor, I'm going in with a tablespoon of Worcestershire and 2 bay leaves. All right, we're starting to simmer, and you can see that our gravy has started to form thanks to that flour. Got an hour and 45 minutes at 325. I feel like if your grandmother was telling you what was on the menu, it would be pot roast with carrots and potatoes. Like that. Say it like that. I'm going to do the gold potatoes to go in the pot roast. I love these because they're nice and tender and buttery, especially when they're swimming in that delicious gravy. And then I've got 5 large carrots, and I feel like the iconic look is to cut them into, big chunks like this. I didn't add these at the beginning because they might turn mushy after 4 hours of cooking. So we add them at about the halfway point. So I'm gonna pull our roast out, see what it looks like. It's smelling good. I'm gonna give it a little flip. And you can tell, it's still really tough. So we've got a ways to go. Add in our carrots and potatoes. All right, lid goes back on. Back into the oven, 325 for another couple hours. You think Grandma did that? Beautiful, gorgeous. And it's all ready. The gravy is perfect. Not too thick, not too thin. Look how tender these veggies are. The meat is also gonna be so tender, but just like anything we roast, we're gonna let it rest, and it's gonna be the perfect amount of time to get the table set. We are about to have the best Sunday dinner. I would be willing to bet anything that if you have pot roast on your Sunday dinner menu, that there would be mashed potatoes next to it. Even if we're putting potatoes in the pot roast, because I also don't think you could have the pot roast without potatoes in it. My husband says that he would have rice with his pot roast, but there would also be potatoes in the pot roast. I'd love to know who still does Sunday dinner. We tried to bring it back. Sometimes we do. We were going to do it once a month. It's gotten to be like 20